Ellie, what are you doing? Our mission was to deliver a Margaret Mayu jacket to the Bipstal FFA chapter. What happened that day, however, I can never forget. As we navigated through the bustling streets of Shreveport, fate threw us a curveball at an intersection where we needed to make a left turn at a red light. Ellie made the turn with confidence, however, landing us in the wrong lane. Picture this, a 4-lane road with a median, and there were, unintentionally, spraying from the far. Within moments, I couldn't help but notice the do not enter signs glaring at us. I pointed this out to Ellie, who initially seemed perplexed, but quickly gasped. The gravity of our situation. It was a comedic scene with me half laughing, half yelling, and we made a swift U-turn, thankfully without any oncoming traffic. Once back on the correct path, we finally reached Bipstal. The jacket intact and spirits high, this adventure perfectly reflects our friendship, full of unexpected twists, laughter in the face of challenges, and a bond strengthened by shared adventures.
Now, many of you know Ellie has many names. Some of these consist of Ellie, Ellen, Eleanor, Ellis, Ellie Mae, Little Stephen, and of course our favorite, Eli. I've known Ellie my whole life. However, we didn't really become close until my 7th grade year. When I met Ellie, she was just the timid little girl I knew from church. I'd wave at when our paths crossed, and never really spoke more than a few words to. That all changed between the time she randomly showed up to one of my church events to go to Winter Jam, that first time we went to church camp together. Throughout all of the San Marcos quesos, flea market TikToks, Sonic, Walmart incidents, concerts, Ellie became one of my closest friends I have to this day. We've watched each other grow over the years into the people we are today, and I give her a lot of credit for who I have become. Ellie has taught me many lessons that give me a different perspective on life. First of all, never let those bad experiences define you, but let them grow you. A relationship with God is the greatest thing that you can ever have. Ellie proves to me every day how there are good people in this world and throughout the many ways that she lives her life through Christ. She's been with me through thick and thin, and I truly don't know where I would be in life without her today.
Most of y'all may know Ellie as the FFA president, student of the year, and many other things. But I know her as my sister. I remember when she was born and we're going to see her in the hospital. I always knew there was something special about her attitude, the way she handled things, and she had no quit in her. I've always loved that about her. But what I love the most is the love she has for Christ and what Christ has done in her life. And with Christ, she has made a difference. In everything she is involved in, that makes her brother proud. I love you, Ellie. Keep making a difference. It is my privilege to introduce my sister, Louisiana FFA State Vice President, representing Area 1, Ellie Thames.
Do y'all know how everybody has a handful of things that people learn about them relatively quickly and easily? For example, I bet it didn't take you long to realize the interests of someone that you go to school with, or maybe some of the things that your best friend likes. I would consider some of the things that people learn about me relatively quickly to be that I love Jesus, spending time with those that I love, and of course, FFA. However, there's one thing that I think people learn about me the quickest, and that is that I get scared extremely easily. Let's go ahead and roll the tapes. Yeah, those weren't some of my finest moments. I'm not exactly sure why this has always been something for me, but I can tell you that my teammates and several members have found joy in scaring the life out of me many a times this year. It especially doesn't make sense to me considering the fact that I ride one-ton animals for fun. Now, I've never really been much of a school sports gal, but I can tell you that when my daddy put a rope in my hand in the 2nd grade, he knew exactly what he was doing. I was his mini-me for many years, getting in the way many a times, following him around ropings, constantly asking him to watch me swing a rope, and everything in between. I had to beg and beg for him to finally let me rope 5 cattle off of a horse for the first time, but then a summer of me going to 6th grade rolled around, and it was my time to shine. However, my first time didn't exactly go the way that I intended it to. I was a camper at a rodeo Bible camp that was signed up for basic team roping, and this pretty much meant that I was a beginner and practically knew nothing. But did I think I already knew everything I needed to? Oh, absolutely. Although what I've been doing on this point wasn't on a horse. I've been watching roping for many years at this point, and watching me miss that roping dummy, oh, that was a rare sight. With this mindset, I decided that I didn't really need to listen to the things those instructors were trying to tell me, such as how to hold my rope and reins together, different riding techniques, and other things that will help make my first run a success. I was jumping at the bit for it to finally be my turn to run a cow, and after what felt like days to an 11-year-old Ellie had passed, my time had come. I backed into the box, tuning out the sound of my daddy and the instructors trying to give me any last-minute advice, and decided it was time for me to show them what I was made of. I nodded my head, and my horse Fig and I set out upon our mission, but I am quickly hit with the realization that roping on the ground compared to roping on a horse, oh, it's completely different. My hair is flying in my face, and I struggled to swing my rope, but to my surprise, I ended up catching my first steer ever. Now you might be thinking, well, that doesn't seem too bad for somebody's first time, but I haven't got to the good stuff yet. After I caught the steer, I had absolutely no idea what I was supposed to do, so I began to panic. This led to me dropping both my rope and my reins in the process of trying to get myself back together while my horse is still running. Now, my horse isn't just running around the arena. He's running full speed towards the only gate that somebody just so happened to leave open, that just so happened to lead out into an active parking lot. Before you could shake a stick at us, Fig and I were in that parking lot, and I still had not gained back my control. I could hear the sound of my daddy and the instructors hollering at me to pull up, pull up. But how in the world was I supposed to do that if I couldn't even get a hold of the reins? Luckily, I was riding an old faithful horse to ease down to a trot and eventually a complete stop without me having to do nothing but close my eyes, say a prayer, and grip on to the saddle horn for dear life. It didn't take long until everybody came rushing over to make sure both myself and my horse were all right. And let's just say I got a good chewing from my daddy after that series of events. While I wasn't able to consider my first time roping a complete success, I can say that it taught me a huge lesson. Let's just say I started to listen a lot more and take into consideration the things that the people were trying to teach me. After this experience, time rocked on, and I began to get better and roping bigger competitions. I was absolutely loving getting to show people what I was capable of doing and have the time of my life doing so. But then the time came where I had to look into something that I was not looking forward to: the barrier. For those of you that aren't familiar with the rodeo world, the barrier is a roper's worst nightmare. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine a buzzer in a corner that you back both yourself and your horse into. In front of you, there's a chute with a cow in it. When you nod your head so that you're ready to go, you need to let that cow leave just a little bit ahead of you in order to give them the head start, you might say. Now, if you don't give them a head start, you're going to hear a loud buzzer going off, signaling that you have broke the barrier and are usually going to get hit with a 5-second time penalty. Here's an example of what it should look like. Breaking the barrier is something that you want to avoid at all costs because at the end of the day, people going home with that money in their pockets are the people with the fastest times. Remember earlier when I said I got scared extremely easily? Yeah, well, this is one thing that had me shaking in my boots. I was so scared of breaking that barrier that countless of times I ended up sitting in the box too long, getting outran by the steer that I was supposed to catch. But you best believe I was not going to break that barrier. A lot of the time, I was still able to make a run out of it, but by the time things were said and done, our times were too long to place, letting both myself and my different partners down. I had so much fear built up for something so simple that countless of times I came home and wanted to throw it all away because I felt so discouraged. And not to mention, I had no money in my pockets. Of course, my daddy realized what I had been doing from the beginning, and one day had to come flat out and say this: "Ellie, you have got to quit being such a sissy when it comes to breaking that barrier." Sometimes you need to break it in order to get a feeling for what's going on around you, and you can only learn from there. Plus, you look like you had no idea what you were doing out there earlier. Gotta love that tough love. It took me months to overcome this fear, but finally, one day, I had enough of myself. I remember being so tired of what I had been doing. The next time I backed into that box, I told myself there was no way that I was going to get outran by another steer. I nodded my head, and usually when I would wait to the cow leave way out ahead of me, I actually ended up leaving before it did. I heard a loud buzzer go off, signaling that I had broke that barrier, and I was going to get hit with that time penalty, but to be honest with you, I didn't even care. Not only was I still able to make a run out of it, but I had conquered something I was so scared of doing. Once I allowed that barrier to break, I realized how long my fear had consumed me for something so simple. Things weren't much different when it came to my journey in this corduroy. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the first time I ever put my first FFA jacket on, some kind of magical experience occurred, but I will tell you this. The main person that made that possible, being my ag teacher, Mr. G, alongside so many others, have helped me develop into the person I am today and have shown me what it looks like to live with barriers broken. I'm telling y'all, I wouldn't even order food for myself at the ripe age of 16 and didn't intend on doing so until Mr. G forced me to on those FFA trips. Thanks for that, by the way. Similar to my roping experiences, I was so scared of breaking that barrier because it meant getting out of the comfort zone I enjoyed staying in, or at least I thought. What if I didn't reach the expectations that others and myself had set for me? What if everybody can sense my fear and think that I wasn't capable? What if it all became too much and I just couldn't handle it? I drowned myself in the what ifs and trying to think to the upside of situation. Oh, don't ask me to do that because I could only think of the possible negative outcomes. Finally, I had to challenge myself to have that same mindset that I did when it came to breaking the barrier and roping and stop thinking about those different outcomes I could be hit with and ask myself what was truly going to bring me joy. I can tell you right now that running for chapter, area, and state office, meeting some of our state and our nation's leaders, ziplining with some friends from Area 3, playing an amazing gaga ball with some Area 4 members, falling in a bush, hiding from some dedicated Area 2 members in a scavenger hunt, and of course, getting and travel across the area that I call home are all places where I found joy because I stopped letting my fear consume me the way that it once did. Of course, I heard a couple of buzzers go off, but nothing could compare to the blessings that I encountered when I stopped letting that fear consume me the way that it once did. 2 Timothy 1:7 is a Bible verse I have tried and I'm still trying to make a lifestyle. It says, "For God did not give me a spirit of fear, but one of love, power, and a sound mind." This is something that's helped me in my journey of breaking the barriers, but what does yours look like? Have that one family member that has hurt you time and time again, and you're scared of letting them back in because of fear it'll all happen again? Scared of committing to something and not being able to fulfill your responsibilities? Scared of doing something that will cause you to get uncomfortable? Trust me, when it comes to all of these things and more, I have been there and I've done that and I've got the t-shirt to prove it. But I was able to break the barriers of those things because the fire inside of me burns brighter than it does around me. And that same fire is burning in you too. Right now, if you have the chance to do so, or later on when you get back into your comfortable hotel bed, I encourage you to do this. Take out a piece of paper and write down something that you need the barrier to be broken with. Something that's left you trapped in fear and kept you from experiencing that true joy that I've been talking about. While many barriers have been broken so far, here's a list of some of the things that I'm scared of dealing with after this week is over. Although these are things I'm going to have to deal with on my own, I know that I'm ready to do so because of the lessons I have learned this past year, and I hope that you are ready to do the same with your own. Louisiana FFA, thank you for teaching me the value of truly living in the moment and teaching me how to break the barriers in the different aspects of my life. It has been the biggest honor and blessing to serve each and every one of you this year. Thank you for making this goodbye so hard, and I hope that I've treated you just as well as you have treated me. Thank you.
Make me a mop to clean up the messes that I've made in my life. Lord, make me a spoon, smooth on the edges when my words shovel, make me whatever. A handle on a cup you glue back together. If breaking a man just makes him better, then do what you gotta do. Make me the nail, you hold the hammer. Drive me straight and drive me true. Lord, build me a heart with room for forgiveness, and just let me live there for a minute or two. Make me a shovel, make me whatever. A handle on a cup you glue back together. If breaking a man just makes him better, then do what you gotta do.
Ellie Mae, Eli Thomas, the Woody to my Jesse, and my favorite French twin. Never would I have thought that that one mute Area 1 officer that beat me at Assassins would ever be my best friend. There's no one else that I would want to go ride skewers with in the rain at leadership camp, or beat with the baguette at AOT, or take on that bulldog life with here soon. Ellie, you truly are the most humble, genuine, and kind person that Louisiana FFA will ever see and know. No matter where you go in life, I know that you will be able to cross any barrier or any border that it brings you. To living in the moment, love Emily, Riley, Jillian, Kirsten, Alyssa, Cade, Alex, Elena, and Camille. Louisiana FFA, for the final time, your state vice president representing Area 1, Ellie Thames.
Make me a model. Just use me for something more than just cleaning up